Starting to the top right, a former champion of Codas. Yes.
FXO Seed.
Seed, he has a mountain to climb. He is up against one of the strongest players in the StarTale roster. Up against the Zerg player who eats Protoss for breakfast. To the bottom left of the Relic Watcher, we have
StarTale Life.
I like what you said, a mountain to climb. I mean, this is basically like Seed saying, can I climb Mount Everest? Because the mountain's not going to move, okay? It's just a mountain. Like, it's a challenge he has to do. You know how much training he needs, how much practice. He might get halfway there and have to quit. Life is life. And I don't know who Basti is, but he loves him or her. That's what that says. I can translate that.
That's definitely a guy's name.
I think so. It sounds like Bastion, like a shortened version of Bastion or something. Maybe Sebastian?
Nickname for Sebastian.
Yeah. Anyways, as I was saying, this is like, Life is sitting down saying like, all right, where do I collect my points? And Seed is actually just trying his best to stop him.
So let's put this into numbers for a second. If you look at Life's win ratio on this matchup, it's not only that he has an incredible win ratio, he's looking at 74% win ratio against Protoss, but the sample size here for him is gigantic. He has won 46 maps against Protoss and he lost only 16. And these games are against the best players in the world. It's not like he has a lot of matches where he just defeated unknown like foreign Protoss players and anything. He took down the best. And Seed, he struggles in the matchup. He has only a 38% win ratio with only 13 maps played in total. He just recently lost to Round2 in the GSTL, he lost to Curious, he lost to Savage, and these are all players that are nowhere near the level that Life is currently. So in a best of one format, of course, Seed can take the map, but it's so highly unlikely that Life is... I mean, when we were talking and jokingly saying like he eats Protoss for breakfast, that was actually not really a funny story. Like every Protoss player that ever went up against Life in Heart of the Swarm knows exactly what we're talking about. You just don't want that to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even necessarily breakfast. It just depends on the time of day. Because right now, it's basically Seed for dinner.
Exactly. The thing is, if you're a Zerg player, you don't want to face Innovation. If you're a Protoss player, you don't want to face Life.
Yeah. I mean, he is the bane of all Protoss players. And he's going actually double hatch here, really quick. Very early third base. He saw that it's a forge opening, reacts accordingly. And... Alright, so the question is now, what does Seed do? Because this is Derelict Watcher. The third base on this map is actually relatively easy to take as a Protoss if you get any sort of early lead, if you can keep the Zerg occupied with your Phoenixes, for example. And then we go late game. Life is the king of this matchup, but I think what Seed is going to hope for in this game is not an all-in, because Life is actually like the king of holding all-ins too. I think he's just going to try to hope for a big Void Ray Storm type composition in the late game where he maybe takes that one fight against Life with a big Protoss Death Ball, and that's what he's going to go for.
What Life usually does is he plays a very aggressive game. He will hit you everywhere where he can. He will open up so many points on the map where he's going to attack you that at some point you will crumble. There will be an opening, he will see it, he will completely capitalize on it, and he will crush you.
Life is the Swarm, basically.
Yeah, Life is the Swarm. If you can defend against that, then you can carry it into the late game, and then you might be able to take down Life. But if you really don't go for a timing, if you really try to play a straight-up game against him, then you better be ready to defend for your life, because he's going to be everywhere. The third base is going to be so difficult for C to take in this match.
Yeah.
Life already has 3 bases to the left side. He loves to attack with the Zerglings, Roaches, he goes for Mutalisk transitions, we have him with a really good Viper control if need be, so it's really difficult to make it a work against him.
I can't even believe Seed mocked down the ramp with a Sentry and a Zealot against Life. He went to check out those Zerglings, but that's a risky move. I mean, we have, you know, the transition here for Life to be a pretty standard one. He's got a lot of gases, gets 1 Evolution Chamber, and...
You know, the one thing that I have to say about Seed is, like, he not only is he a fighter, not only will he always try to come back, but he's also very, very confident in his abilities. He's a player who, when you talk to him, always says, like, yes, I can do this. I can definitely beat him. I know that it's going to be difficult, but I'll do my best, and I know I can. And therefore, I will give it my everything. The Overlord, on the other hand, going now into the main base and scouting those 2 gateways already, that's a little bit unfortunate here for the Protoss player. He was really hoping to take it out before he saw anything.
Yeah, I really don't like this choice by Seed to be aggressive, and I like more, though, adding the Twilight Council in here. He basically had this choice to add the Twilight Council or to try to take a fast third with the gateways to defend it, because right now, like, the attack that he had planned originally is never going to do anything against Life. Probably wouldn't have, if Life didn't scout, he would have had a good chance of holding, but now that he has seen it, there's no way. He's even checking now for pylons. He's got so many Zerglings on the way.
One of the things that Seed is really known for, on the other hand, is his micro. Like, especially back in the days when he became the champion of Codes, he really had like some of the most crazy sentry micro and especially force field micro that we've ever seen. And that also won him back then the battles against MC. Life, on the other hand, is known to make timings work that nobody can explain why exactly they work. For a long time, also against Terran, he started Zergling attacks where every Zerg player just looked at the games and was like, that is not going to do anything. Yeah. And then suddenly he killed players with that. So we see that aggression already building up. Life is starting all these things. He's going for the roaches and he wants to go down on that third. He knows that Seed is trying to take the third now.
And, you know, Blink is not going to be helpful. You're not even close to being done. 18 more Zerglings on the way. Life is heavily committing. And you know what? If Seed actually can hold this somehow, he's not going to hold the Nexus, but if he can keep his sentries alive, if he can trade decently here, he'll be in a decent spot because there's so much commitment to this.
And with the Blink coming up, he's very mobile with defending these bases. We have a lot more gate base coming in. The plus one attack upgrade is done. The wall is there. He has those force fields. He has a nice split, so Seed knows exactly about lifestyle.
Yeah.
He knows exactly what he has to do, and he's trying his best already. Splitting his army, defending the third, defending the natural, and here we go. Life is looking for the opening.
It's all about the roaches here. The force fields are going to make sure Zerglings can do absolutely nothing, but the roaches, if they break through the gateways even for a second, then Life is going to dart in. But I don't think he can do it, and Life knows he's droning up at home. He's transitioning, he's getting a lair, but this is a great position for Seed.
Yeah.
He's ahead in Harvesters. He got his third base, not for free, but I mean, he took no damage here.
And that is exactly what Seed needed to do. He split his units well. He had sentries at the natural. He had sentries at the third base. He took the third, and now Life is in the position where he's transition out. And the one thing that he can say about Life is that sometimes he gets overconfident. This is one of the faults that he has, that Bomber has been mentioning several times. I talked to Bomber a lot about Life, and he said that the kid is crazy good, but at the same time, sometimes he's just a little bit too overconfident and thinks he can win a series a bit too easily. He doesn't really... doesn't play too cautious there. And he is used to his style working. So right now with the transition, he's of course in a position where he can just drone up on 3 bases and get a really good macro position in the game. But still, this is something that is probably gone.
Yeah, and you know, Seed now has +2 nearly done. He's transitioning into the robotics. He scouted with the Phoenix, he saw the tech. There isn't really any yet. And for him, he's thinking to himself probably, okay, now I just have to prepare for the next step here. And Life probably wants to take a 4th base pretty soon, because without that, the position for Seed just gets better and better. And there's the 4th going down to around the 7 o'clock position, as I mentioned it, because he really, really needs that to catch up here. He's even getting the macro hatchery, which I also really like. He got an infestation pit. I don't think swarm hosts are going to be the answer. No, definitely not, with pathogen glands, of course, coming in here.
Yeah, Seed is making sure that he has the scouting information that he needs. He has those hallucinated phoenixes already on the map, and you can really see that he's setting up a very defensive position here. But he knows that as long as he can save this 3rd base, he's in a position where he has a great income, where he can go for every single tech tree that he needs to, and he's going for those Colossi. The Zerglings still active on the map, but more trying to put themselves in a position where they can flank the opponent, where they can maybe sneak past him and go into the natural. And that's what he's trying right now. He's knocking at Seed's front door.
Seed, actually, the Zealot's out of position. Zealot's out of position here, and this one is in the right spot, but at the natural, will he realize? Oh, that was close.
Yeah, sees everything. Like, Seed so far playing a really good game here. Live too, like both of them really trying their best. We have still that supply advantage, of course, for a Zerg, but that's what you expect to see.
One Zealot is not going to cut it here. One Zealot is not even going to be close to cutting it. He may. But where's the mothership core? He may recall.
If he gets the force fields in, that's going to be difficult. He sends one Zergling down to spot the army and immediately moves back. Good job by Life.
He needed to do that even though he didn't get in, because the 4th base would have been killed otherwise. You know, he absolutely had to do that.
He pulled Seed's army back with that move. And at the same time, I really love that he sent this one Zergling down, because he knew that this army would retreat. And if those sentries get close enough to trap every single Zergling with force fields towards the wall at the natural, then he's going to lose this entire army. And this force is so important to him because it's very mobile, it can always flank, it can always go for counter-aggression, so he needs to save it.
I like that Seed is constantly scouting the composition as well with Phoenixes. This is not going to work. There's just way too many Stalkers here. Oh, the blink forward, though.
The blink forward, and now they are in cooldown, and suddenly the Roach is close the distance.
Oh, that was really good free actions there with the force of the fungal, catches a lot of Stalkers, and he actually recalls here. A smart choice.
Yeah, really smart choice. That was the best move that he could go for there. He killed a lot of the Zerglings, but keep in mind that Life is also really defending quite well against him. He has always Zerglings at every single one of these bases. Spire now coming into play. Hive Tech, we have the +2 armor upgrade. On the other hand, +3 attack, double Colossus production for Seed.
Two Colossi about to pop out right now with +3 soon to finish as well. He's got Stalkers over here at the third base. Life is up in bases, and he's switching into Hive Tech. He's got that Spire coming up. So basically, even though he's not killing Seed here, he's up on bases. He's got the macro hatchery, and his tech is going further and further here. So Seed actually needs to make something happen soon, whether it's a fourth base to transition into getting Tempest out or getting Void Rays out, or he needs to actually attack soon.
But Seed puts himself in a really good spot, and I like it. He didn't commit to any kind of timing or in the attack that would have left him too open. But now we have those Fungus moving in, and immediately the force field shielding the entire army. The force field micro once again, not a single overlap here. 1 or 2 force fields, maybe too much, but still really good shot. Blink
and he blinks only a few Stalkers, or rather, only a few Stalkers forward, 3 or 4, just so that he can't get surrounded. Picks off the Infestors, the Roaches here in trouble, and he's blinking through.
Oh my god, Life with a 75% win ratio in this matchup. Seed really struggling
He's gonna blink
with his
again.
PvZ, but there is nothing to be seen of that in this game. He's going in, he's trying to go for the chase, he's trying to put his opponent back to Corruptors over there, yet they cannot take down those Colossi just yet. He needs more time.
He needs more time, he's not getting it. The force fields are going to drop any second now to drop those Roaches out of position, and the Colossi at the back doing terrible, terrible damage, and the Corruptors are nowhere to be seen. They're morphing, they're too
He
late.
doesn't have them, they're too late. 11 Corruptors on the way, but this is just way too late. Life is going down.
He's dancing the Stalkers!
He's dancing the Stalkers, and he pulls off the miracle that FXOpen needs. He's taking down Life on the Relic Watcher. The Corruptors too late. Gonna be sniped one by one. One Colossus goes down. He doesn't care at all about that.
It doesn't matter anymore. Stalkers alone can end this game. Wars GG!
Oh my god! Seed performs the miracle that FXOpen needs here. Look at Joy, how happy he is. Seed
Look at
is
Seed's face.
Oh!
He did it!
Wow!
And
this is what I said earlier. He's a fighter, but I did not believe before this game that he could do it. Incredible.
you know, that's what I'm saying. You know, it was in reach, right? It was in reach. It was possible.
Wow.
And it was the game that they took today. And now, not only is FXOpen in a position where, at the very worst, they go into ace match, but if Tastar pulls off a second miracle, an even harder miracle, then they actually just win the series.
Unbelievable. That was crazy. Like, not only from a statistical point of view, but just seeing live play the last few Zerg vs. Protoss that we casted here in the studio, and seeing Seed play these games, I would have not thought this possible. But Seed comes through for his teams when they need him most. Live trying to make his standard style work, going for aggression run-bys. But Seed holds every single time. There's the wall, and he's like,
that's
you
how
are
he won
not
this
going to
game.
break through here.
He made a brick wall, and Life could not charge through. And that hold at the third base where Life had to just walk away, that's the moment where Seed took the lead in the game, and he never made any more mistakes. He's like, yeah, I'm telling you.
He's happy.
He's like, I'm coming out in the ace match if I have to. I'll play him again.
That's crazy good. That was, wow. I did not see that coming. Seed versus Life, especially with how Seed struggled in this matchup in the past. I don't even want to know how much practice time he put into that game. That was... I mean, that was also, like, of course, Life not getting anything done with what he usually can accomplish games. The last match that we saw the casted Live on this map, he crushed his opponent. I cannot remember which Protoss player it was, but he even denied the third base. He went in everywhere. He snuck Zerglings into the main base, into the natural. He attacked everything, and Life was trying to play the exact same game. It was like, yep, I'm going to win it the exact same style. And then suddenly there's the wall at the third, there are sentries at the natural, there's no opening for Life. That means he put a lot of resources and lava in that army at the beginning that he could not use anymore.
He was down in workers, and the tech was really good. The upgrades, he got a really fast +3, and that engagement where he blinked only a few stalkers. I think Life wasn't ready. He was like, we'll posture here a little bit, and he was like, no, I'm going right now. He blinked it, and Life was like, oh my god, my corruptors aren't ready, and I can't take a fight right now. He lost his infestors.
Another problem for Life was one of the battles that he took. When he went in with the Zerglings, there was a really nice flank that he had here. He went in from the side, and Seed blinked forward. That left him in the cooldown, and we talked about this a little bit. He blinked towards the roaches because he didn't see them, but at the same time he also blinked towards one of the choke points that we had there. And at first it really looked like a massive mistake because he didn't see the roaches coming, he didn't know they were there. He was out of cooldown, so suddenly those Lings and Roaches were a huge threat to him. But because he found himself close to the choke point, he could just wall it off with force fields, and those Roaches never really came into play. The Zerglings, on the other hand, did some damage, but at that point it was already too late.
Yeah.
If you are a Zerg on this map, and especially on a Director Watcher, which is a great map for Zerg in this scenario, if you're in the middle of the map, catch your opponent, then you can crush this army. But Seed blinks forward, sees the Roaches, and at first probably panicking a little bit, and then he's like, wait a second, I have like 10 sentries with me.
Yeah.
I just force field that, and the Lings alone are not going to be an issue.
So many of the Stalkers so low on hit points there at the end of it, but because of his upgrades, he was able to wear down those Zerglings, hold it out.
And then he recalls.
Yeah.
Then he recalls. He sees the fungal coming in. He tries to walk back. He still has the force fields there. The Infestors get close, drop the fungal, and sees immediately, you know what, I'm not even going to try to run away.
Not even going to risk it, not even a little bit. Just recalls home. Smart move there, and now we're down to what could be, in a crazy case, our final game if Tastar is able to beat Bomber. And we talked about Seed. Like, Seed's the guy who's going to play a straight-up game against Life. He's just going to say, you know what, I'm not cheesing him, I'm not owning him, and play straight up. Tastar is the exact opposite. I expect that when we see this next game, Tastar is going to be 2-gate proxy, or proxy Void Raise even, or proxy Oracle, or an Immortal Bust, or something like that. It's not going to be, I'll beat Bomber in the late game. Pross pretty strong late game against Terran.
I cannot even remember when we saw Tassadar win the last time. I cannot remember it. But
that's what stat books are for, man. I know you can look that up.
Yeah, I'll definitely look it up in a second. But yeah, Tassadar going up against Bomber right now, and he's spraying.
At least now it's not all up to him. Had Seed lost, then it would have been all up to him, but now he's like just trying to close it out.
You know what I love the most about the last game, and I'm actually not joking, it's like how ecstatic Seed was after the victory.
Yeah, that
he was
face,
so
man.
pumped, like he jumped out of the booth, he went to the bench, like that fist pump, everything. It was just, I love to see players like him being ecstatic.
That's when you see like the real personality in that Stalker dance. When you see him run out of the booth, you like see the man who was just dancing those Stalkers.
He didn't pull a Fantasy who like played one of the most exciting games that we had in the Challenger League in the third round, advances to the Premier League, and then packs his keyboard, doesn't even crack a smile, and leaves the booth in the studio. I'm like, come on, dude, at least like give us something.
Well, Bomber is got to be feeling similarly to how Life felt going into the series. Tassadar is looking really stressed. He's always got that pink keyboard. That's how you know it's really Tassadar and not actually Blanca, the Street Fighter characters, because Blanca doesn't use pink keyboard. Tassadar, on the other hand, does.
Yeah, Tassadar versus Bomber right now. I mean, on paper, Bomber is going to crush him in a second, but at the same time, we said the same thing about like Life because of this crazy record that he has against Protoss. Tassadar has one of the worst records that we have in the team league, so I'm not sure if he can do it, but maybe. And even if he can't, then we still have the ace match.
Yeah, so best case for FXOpen, Tassadar takes the second Miracle win in a row, continues that combo, and they win. Worst case scenario, they get to play an ace match, which is no easy game coming forward. Also, everyone consider, we haven't talked about this too much, Seoul right now is stressing. They're watching and they are rooting for StarTale. They do not want FXOpen to take this win because it puts them one step closer to actually knocking them out of the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely true. I mean, FXOpen is not allowed to win here if Seoul wants to have another chance this season.
Tassadar actually did face Bomber, by the way, one time and lost, of course.
Guys, we have a 5-minute break before we head into the potential last two matches of the day. So see you guys in a few. Then we have Tassadar versus Bomber here at the GSTL.
Hold on.